So, Jess, why did you become a realtor?
I worked in various customer service jobs, so I wanted something a little bit more rewarding. Becoming a real estate agent, being able to help people find their forever homes or their investment homes, starter homes. It's very exciting, so a lot of fun.
Now, you've gotten off to a really good start in your real estate career. What has been the most rewarding part of this for you so far?
Helping people, especially like first-time home buyers, finding their first home. They're so excited. I'm so excited to help them. So it's a nice, rewarding part.
What is it that you think makes you different than other real estate agents?
I think that my various roles in customer service has helped me. So I like to ask a lot of questions and I want to know what I'm doing. So I think that helps a lot because I'm not going to steer people the wrong way. I'm going to make sure they have knowledgeable decisions and help them find the right home.
Last thing I'm going to ask you is, and I know these are words that you live by, but the mantra at CTBB Realty is?
People over paychecks and do the damn thing.
And that's what we do.
The Giants are running New York like the Times as Danny is dropping all sorts of dimes. Saquon's thighs are ruining defenses' lives and Leonard Williams making opposing QBs feel him. Receivers think it's scary to line up across James Bradbury, and the Giants have a bright future led by Coach Judge, Jury, and Executioner. Tune in to Drawing About the G-Men every Wednesday at 6, live on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
This ain't some clown show organization or something else.
Jones on first down, wide open, it's Barkley. And Saquon Barkley will take it into the end zone.
Your best ability is availability. Saquon Barkley, he's great when he's on the field, but the problem is since 2018, he hasn't been healthy for this team.
Look at this. They lob it to him. He taps it in off the glass. How about that?
Porter Moser, I think right now is the best coach in college basketball, hands down.
Fins 2 for 3. He's done his part. Pitch is drilled to deep right field toward the pole, and it is gone.
They don't mind not being what they were in the 90s as the best organization in baseball, because the Yankees are not. They're even close to the best organization in baseball.
They're trying to be the Rays, and the Rays do this for a reason. Like, you're the Yankees.
Welcome to Sports Talk with R&J. I'm Steve Risser along here with Justin D'Onofrio. And yesterday, Tom Brady made it official on his Instagram that he is retiring from the NFL after 22 seasons. And what an incredible career Tom Brady had. 7-time Super Bowl champion, multiple Pro Bowls, multiple All-Pro selections, and just what he did. I mean, obviously, coming to New England, being the backup for Drew Bledsoe, winning that job in 2002. People forget he led the league in touchdown passes the year after he won the Super Bowl. Then he led the Patriots at 2 Super Bowl championships. Then there was a little bit of a window there where the Patriots didn't win Super Bowls, but nobody will forget his 2007 season. I was there when he broke the record for touchdown passes in a season. He broke Peyton Manning's record for touchdown passes in a season with 50. I was there for that. Actually, him and Moss broke it on the same play. He had an incredible 2007 season, even though the Patriots didn't win the Super Bowl. Got hurt in 08, and then from 09, from there on out, he was incredible. For the Patriots for the next decade. Then, probably one of the most impressive things of his career, though, was he went somewhere else, went to Tampa. A lot of people questioned, should he really be going to Tampa? He could be, hurting his legacy. He absolutely did it. He won a Super Bowl. He threw for over 40 touchdown passes, won a Super Bowl, and then this year he led the league in passing yards and touchdown passes. So Brady is leaving the game, still playing outstanding. He's leaving the game, still playing at a high level. And I think that the biggest thing for him, why he's the greatest of all time, was all the championships he won and the fact he was able to play at a high level at the age he was. I mean, he was able to play at a top 3. He still was a top 3 quarterback this year at 44, and I thought that was incredible. Justin, you watched all of Brady's career. What were your thoughts on what happened on the outstanding career of Tom Brady?
Yeah, I don't think it's all kind of settled in yet that he's actually going to retire and this is going to be it. But yeah, he was phenomenal for over 20 years being in New England. Just how important he was to that organization and how him and Bill just, orchestrated that dynasty. Again, he's got 7 Super Bowl rings, more than any NFL, team. The Patriots are and the Cowboys have 6. They're up he's won so many playoff games. He's won the most all the time. He's broken every record that he could have. He's probably he was still playing at the top of his game. He probably could have been as well next year. He's probably leaving another good year out there, probably maybe 2. Who knows? But look, there's nothing else for him to kind of do anymore. He's broken everything. He's won 7 titles. He's kind of done it all. But he's the greatest quarterback all the time. You saw last year, or in 2020 with Cam, the difference between Tom and just not having him there and having that effect. Kind of having the down year for the Patriots. He meant so much to that fan base, that's so much to that organization. He's phenomenal. He was a winner. Again, great to the fans, media, everybody around New England. Fan favorite. He's a legend in New England sports. He's a legend in the NFL, and he had a remarkable career. It's going to be very weird not to see him on the field next year.
Absolutely. And you talked about, what he meant to the city of Boston, the region of New England. I mean, I don't think there's a player that meant more. I think he means more than David Ortiz. I think he means more than Bill Russell. I mean, he means more than Larry Bird, just because of how many championships he won. And he did it in an era where the league was so quarterback driven. He won all those championships in an era where the league is so quarterback driven. I mean, greatest, yeah, nice one, Hector. Greatest 199th pick ever. Came in as the underdog, but he showed you what hard work does. I mean, that's why I'm one of the people that didn't buy the whole if Drew Bledsoe didn't get hurt, he wouldn't have the career he had. I think he might have found another team to have the career he had with. So I just think just an outstanding career. And yesterday he didn't, give the Patriot fans credit in the letter, but I think he did that previously. And there might be another post coming today. And he obviously, when he retweeted Kraft and thanked the fans in New England. So I don't take any stock in that. Did you do, Justin? Do you take any stock in not mentioning the Patriot fans?
Not really, because I thought his goodbye to New England was 2 years ago when he was leaving. I bet there's something. I know he's coming back up. I think, I know he's coming back up soon to sign a 1-year or a 1-day contract. That's when I think he's going to do it. That kind of done the know. I don't know if he's talking about the Brady general here retiring, but I think he may say something then. But for me, 27 Hall of Famer, no doubt.
That's out. He'll be a. It's crazy. He has to wait that long. He probably shouldn't have to wait that long for how good he was. Yeah, but 2027, Patriot fans already they're already going to be booking their trips to Canton for 2027 because I think the whole region of New England will have that place. That place will all be booked in Canton. They'll already have their hotel rooms by 2025. That's something I mean, as a Giants fan with Eli Manning, you won't know until February of 2025 if he's going to get into the Hall of Fame or not. The Patriots with Tom Brady, you're 100% sure that he's obviously going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah, absolutely. He will be. They should give him a special exception here. Just let him be inducted in August or whatever for how great. Because he's undoubtedly going to be in there first ballot. All of that. And again, Patriots fans, they got to beat out the Pittsburgh fans who are right there because Big Ben's probably going to be first ballot as well. So it'll be a ton of New England and Pittsburgh fans.
How tough is it going to be to go to that enshrinement ceremony? I think right now it's going to be brutal. But I think the Patriot fans get the tickets first because I don't know if the Pittsburgh. I think Big Ben's going to be first ballot, but Brady's obviously first ballot. But Big Ben, you're not 100, you're 95% sure. So I think there'll be more New England fans. But the Patriots and Steelers will play in that Hall of Fame game.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I don't know the last time the Patriots have played that Hall of Fame game. It's been a while, but yeah, it's probably that's a good point. The New England fan definitely know. Yeah, Big Ben, you have a good idea that he's probably going to get in, but yeah, it's not 100% set in stone that he'll get in as well that year. But yeah, so Patriot fans, be booking those tickets the next few years.
Absolutely. Brady goes in before.
Yeah,
Easily. I mean, I think Eli might go in before Brady because he retired 2 years early. Like Eli's not guaranteed to get in like 2025. He might get in 2026. But yeah, but like Brady, it's automatically going to be first. It's going to automatically be first ballot. Where Big Ben and Eli, you don't know if they're going to be first ballot or not.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Because now I don't think it'll happen. What happens if like Eli falls to 2027? You got Brady,
That'll be a little crazy.
Big Ben, and Eli all getting shot at the same time.
That'd be crazy. That would be crazy.
That generation of quarterbacks.
Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. That would be crazy if that happens. But now to talk about, we talked about him retiring. Now we want to talk about the best moments of Brady's career. And I did my top 5 moments. Justin did his top 5 moments. But because Justin's a Patriot fan, I'll have you give him his top 5 moments first.
All right, number 5. This one's an off the board one, but I thought it was that back in 2009, the 5 touchdown performance in the snow. With the throwback uniforms, he threw 6 in that game where they beat the Titans 59-0. I was just so impressed because it was so hard that day, and for the way they were throwing the football around, that was special. I love watching games in the snow. That moment always stuck out to me. That was such an incredible game, the way they just dismantled the Titans. Number 4 was a 24-point comeback against Peyton Manning. Back in 2013, Hector should retire.
Yeah, that's
Patriot.
obvious. Yeah. There's no way no one's wearing there's no way a Patriot player is going to wear number 12. There's no way
absolutely. That will be because that will definitely be next year at some point because they already did Edelman's this year. So that will definitely be at one of the games this year. So yeah, absolutely. Nobody will touch the number 12 again in New England. But my number 4 one was the Peyton Manning comeback. They're down 24-0 going to the start of the third quarter. They tied it they tied it 24 to head to overtime, and they got the ball and won it in overtime against the Denver Broncos. That was just a great comeback. Number 3 was the Super Bowl 49 comeback against the Seahawks. They were down 24-14 too against that Legion of Boom elite defense. They really couldn't do anything all day. Now, they got lucky on the play calling there at the end, but he led 2 really good drives in that fourth quarter there. Because they struggled most of that game offensively. But what Brady does is in the Super Bowl fourth quarter, the moment's bright. It's usually when he plays his best, and he did in that game. Number 2 is just that whole 2007 season, as you mentioned, kind of as talking at the beginning, where they were undefeated. He threw for 50 touchdown passes. Breaking Peyton Manning's record. Winning the MVP for the first time, throwing for over 480,000 yards. His completion percentage was 68%. He had an unbelievable career. Fortunately, it ended, poorly, the Super Bowl loss, but it was still a remarkable year. Just such impressive numbers. And that team, you put him with a guy like Randy Moss, the year that those two had was remarkable. And my number 1 one was the Super Bowl 52 comeback, down 28-3. Again, I'll be honest, I thought they were done. I just could not take another second of that game. I still can't believe the comeback that they had in that game. One of the best comebacks of all time you'll ever see in any sport. That game, I think was number 1. Just again, they were counted out. They probably should have lost, but Brady and that team did not quit, and they found a way to come back and knock off the Atlanta Falcons.
All right, here are my top 5 moments. Number 1 for me, and I personally was here to see it, when Tom Brady broke Peyton Manning's record for touchdown passes in a season in 2007. I was at that game against the Giants. Obviously, we know that game propelled the Giants to winning a Super Bowl, but and it was probably one of the best decisions Tom Coughlin ever made playing the starters in that game. But that game where Brady broke the record, Randy Moss broke the record on the same play. He broke Jerry Rice's record for touchdown receptions in the season on the same play. That was my number 5. That was number 5 for me. Number 4 was him winning the Super Bowl last year with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, because he proved that he did not need the New England Patriots to have he did not need the Patriots to have all of his success. He could go somewhere else and have the same success. So for me, that was number 4, him winning the Super Bowl with the Buccaneers. Number 3, it was him winning his first Super Bowl, because as we know, it was still a controversy between him and Bledsoe, because some people might forget, Brady got hurt in that AFC Championship game, and Drew Bledsoe won that game. And in the Super Bowl, there was a controversy of who was going to start. and Belichick chose to start Brady, and then Brady won that game. And at that point, the Patriots had to stick with Brady. So that's why that was my top. That was number 3 for me. Number 2 was the Super Bowl against the Seattle Seahawks. He was down 10 points in the fourth quarter against one of the best defenses of our generation, a defense that the year before made Peyton Manning look really, really bad in the Super Bowl. He was down 24-14 against that defense, and he led that comeback, and he got his 4th Super Bowl, and he got the Patriots their 4th Super Bowl title. And number 1 is so obvious. Super Bowl 51, down 28-3 in the second half against the Falcons, making that comeback the greatest comeback in Super Bowl history, led by the greatest quarterback of all time. That is my number 1 moment. That is my top Tom Brady moment.
Yeah,
that was my that's my top moment. Just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, that comeback was unbelievable.
Oh, absolutely. So now we'll look at where the Bucs go from here now. Now that Brady's gone, where are they going to go from here? And I think it's actually a pretty obvious move where Tampa Bay goes. I don't think they go to Kyle Trask. I don't think Kyle Trask is ready. I think the obvious move is going to be they're going to trade a 2nd or 3rd round pick and go get Jimmy Garoppolo. That's my prediction. I think Jimmy Garoppolo, they're going to trade for Garoppolo because obviously the most obvious thing in the offseason is that Garoppolo is going to be gone from the 49ers are obviously going to trade Jimmy Garoppolo. So I think they trade for Garoppolo, and if they do, it still puts them in position in a bad division to win that division.
Yeah, absolutely. Because that, as we mentioned, with Peyton gone now, Carolina's probably still kind of in the middle of a rebuild. The Atlanta Falcons, who knows what directions? Yeah. So that division. Yeah,
that division is for grabs.
Yeah. Yeah, Atlanta's not going to be very good. Saints are, who knows who they're going to hire as a new coach. So, yeah, again, 9 or 10 wins can win you that division. Jimmy G should be absolutely get you to that spot. It'll be interesting because he doesn't, and I think that is the most obvious move. He doesn't really seem to fit the Bruce Arians kind of scheme here. So that will be an interesting thing. But, again, he's got all those weapons. So as long as you're halfway decent, you don't, you don't throw 35 interceptions, you're going to be pretty good next year. And I think Jimmy G is good enough to win them enough games, to win them that division. Again, I think he's good enough to lead that team to a Super Bowl. But, with all, we'll see what they do if they are able to keep Godwin and all that. But, yeah, I do think that's the most obvious choice that the Buccaneers probably going now.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they could go get a Gardner Minshew or trade for a Minshew or a Mariota. But I mean, I know Garoppolo's not going to make them Super Bowl contenders, but he still gives that team a level of respectability. I feel like they're, maybe I think with them they're like an 8-9 win team, and 8 or 9 wins can easily win that division. Looking at the way, and as we talked about, looking at the way the division is, the Saints, Sean Payton retires, and we don't know what's going to happen with them. The Falcons, they still have Matt Ryan, but they have a really bad roster. Ryan had to have one of his better years to get that team to 7 wins, and then the Panthers. They're going to be one. I think they're going to be one of the worst teams in the league next year. I mean, their offense is absolutely pathetic. So I think that you get a Jimmy G, you could still win that division.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you're definitely going to be able to. Because Jimmy G, I think, is good enough. Again, he's not going to be that elite level quarterback like a Tom Brady, but he's good enough to manage a game. He'll make the mistakes, which kind of worries me in Arians' kind of system. But yeah, with the weapons they have, again, I know they have some questions of guys that they kind of have to re-sign and all that, but that defense is still going to be elite. They got an elite offensive line. Running backs are, Fournette's still all right, but again, that wide receiver room he's got, they should absolutely win that division. Again, they're not going to probably win 13, 14 games, but they should easily get 9 or 10 wins in that division.
Oh, without question. So unfortunately, we got to move on to some bad news in the NFL, and but I'm gonna say bad news. I think it's just the lack of diversity is a problem in the NFL, and I like what Brian Flores is doing about it. He right now is currently suing the NFL and the Dolphins, the Broncos and the Giants. He's suing the Giants for giving him a sham interview, not knowing basically knowing that Brian Daboll had gotten the job before he even interviewed. He's suing the Dolphins for paying him $100,000 for every loss in the 2019 season for tanking games. And he's suing the Denver Broncos for for showing up late and hungover to his interview. So I really like what Brian Flores is doing. The biggest issue in the NFL right now is a lack of diversity, especially with head coaches. I think it's a disgrace. There's only one African-American head coach. I think it's an absolute disgrace that there is. And two of them were fired this year, and they should have never been fired. Brian Flores should have not been fired in Miami, and David Culley should have never been fired with the Houston Texans. Two of them should have never been fired. So the biggest issue, in my opinion, is the lack of diversity of NFL head coaches. And this may cost Brian Flores a coaching job, but I think he's finally standing up and trying to change what's been going on in the NFL and making it easier for African Americans to get head coaching jobs.
Yeah, absolutely. And if I was a GM or owner, and in this kind of job circuit, Brian Flores would have been my first call if I'm looking for a new head coach. With the job he did with the Dolphins to make sure that team didn't quit, what he did a few years ago with that team, where everyone thought that was going to be one of the worst NFL teams of all time, and to win 5 games, to muster a couple of wins on that team, was impressive. He's done a really good job with the Dolphins. Yeah, again with the NFL, they do have to get better with this diversity stuff. Yeah, Mike Tomlin right now is the only African American head coach in the game, and that shouldn't happen. There's a lot of good coordinators, that have gotten the interviews and all that, haven't got the jobs for whatever reason. It's a shame, and Flores is a guy that's really deserving, and yeah, he may blow his chance. Again, my reason, because of going to the Bill Belichick thing for the text messages, I have to believe Bill kind of knew he was texting Flores. Again, I think because I want Flores to be the next New England head coach. With everything going on, where a team maybe avoid him, the Patriots bring him back in. I could again, it's Bill Belichick. You don't know what's going on in his head at all times. But yeah, it's a shame, and I kind of trying to, because there's no reason this guy should not be getting a head coaching job. I know he's still in line for the Texan job. I don't know if that's probably going to change things now with what's going on. But yeah, it's a shame. And again, he's the NFL does have to fix it. And again, it just the Rodney rule just doesn't seem to work, because you could just interview the guys, but again, you don't have to hire them. And I think that's a big problem.
Yeah, and I think Bill made a mistake. I think he was trying. I think he was texting Daboll. I really do. And this actually stemmed. This probably was the thing that caused Flores to pursue legal actions, because the Dolphins, because I don't know, because the Dolphins and Broncos things are tough to prove. It's tough to prove that Stephen Ross was offered to pay Brian Flores. The Bronco thing's really difficult to prove if they showed up late or if they showed up hungover to his interview. But the Giant thing, there's text messages of evidence that the Giants were going in that direction. Now, the thing is, where the Giants would really be at fault here is if Bill heard that from Merritt and Tisch. If you heard it from Merritt and Tisch, the Giants are in big trouble, because they pretty much are pretty much have a candidate hired before they even interview a guy, and the guy is a black man with lack of diversity in the league. So the Giants are in big trouble if Bill heard that from Tisch and Mara. I don't know if we're ever going to know that, but if Tisch and Mara know about it, the Giants are in big trouble. But if Bill just heard it somewhere, just heard it, like just randomly heard it somewhere from somebody in maybe the Bills organization, the Giants might not be in a lot of trouble. But if the Giants, if you heard this from Merritt and Tisch, the Giants are in big trouble.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they would. In the Giant one, because me and Jace were talking about it before the show, the Giant one the only one that really makes sense here, because the minute they hired Joe Shane, you figured they were going Daboll the entire time. And I think we kind of all knew that, and so I could see where Belichick makes that mistake. But if it really came down to where Shane had in his mind, it's no matter what, Brian Daboll, and he was not open-minded to anything else, or the Giants kind of were out there kind of saying it's Daboll, we're not hiring anybody else, then that is a problem. That is some strong evidence that Bill has there. If Tisch or Mara had any idea of that going to happen or kind of we're on that plan, then absolutely the Giants could get in a lot of trouble here. And it would be very bad to start the new GM kind of head coaching kind of era here with with something hanging that over the head of the organization.
Oh, absolutely. And yeah, the Giants obviously is the easiest to prove. The Broncos is probably the one that's going to be tough because you can't. There's probably no recording from the interview. There's no, it's tough to go back 3 years and see what happened there. And the Dolphins could prove the Dolphin one because if he was offered money to tank games, and that could be a problem for the Dolphins because if an owner is like telling a coach to tank games, that could be a big problem for Stephen Ross too. So the two teams that could be in very, very big trouble that could really get trouble for this are the Giants and the Dolphins. And you're hearing rumors too now from Hugh. I saw an article on CBS Sports from Hugh Jackson where he was offered the same thing from Jimmy Haslam. So you could see. I think right now the Giants and Dolphins could be in big trouble if this stuff winds up being true. And you could see other organizations. This could happen. An organization like the Browns. This could happen to as well. Guys like Haslam. Guys like Stephen Ross, John Mara, and Jimmy Haslam could be in big trouble.
Yeah. And what's the one common factor of all these organizations? Is they're all run poorly. So it wouldn't shock me. It really wouldn't if any of this happened. It really would not shock. And then I heard some of the Dolphins one too. It was in the New York Post where where Brian Flores, is accusing two of the Dolphins of tampering, having a meeting with Tom Brady on a yacht. And Brian Flores was invited to the meeting, but did not want to go because he knew it was tampering. That could be tougher, but because I don't think Brady's going to admit anything to that, So that one's out there too. Yeah, you could, with the Dolphins one, you could find evidence on that. The Hugh Jackson one I did see a little bit ago. Yeah, do mention too. It would be tough because that's been a while ago, but you could probably find it. But again, all these organizations are very poorly. It would not shock me to see the Dolphins wanting to tank games or the Browns. It just, again, this is why those organizations are never good and can never get anywhere. Because they're run poorly from the top down. That's why they're always bad.
Exactly. And I think the one thing that's going to come out of this is you're not going to have any more of these backdoor deals anymore. That's not happening because GMs and owners, they are not going to say anything about who they're hiring. I think that's what Brian Flores. That's why I really like that Brian Flores is speaking up right now. Is pursuing legal action because you're not going to hear any of this stuff anymore. What happened with the Giants, you're not going to hear any of that stuff anymore now that Flores has done this.
No, absolutely not. It's going to be hush-hush, and it surprised it. Well, I guess I'm not surprised it wasn't, but to be closer under wraps, I guess. Because now it's you got a situation like this. Teams don't want to deal with this. Absolutely, you're gonna see teams being a lot more quiet on this front about kind of the coaching hirings that for now on.
Absolutely. So I really like what Brian Flores has done. We'll see what ends up happening with it. It's probably going to cost him a head coaching job, but I really like the fact that he is standing up for the African American men in this league, the African Americans in this league. He is trying to give them an opportunity, and I think he's doing he's doing a great thing right here.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he is. Yeah, because he's deserving of it. He's as deserving as any candidate on the board. He's probably the best one out there. It could cost him a job, yet again. And he said that in kind of his statement, but he's kind of again, it's the future kind of wanting to change things. And again, the last couple of years, it's kind of been that America's been trying to change that all. And yeah, I think it's a good thing by Brian Flores to kind of take legal action here. Again, hopefully it turns out the best for him. Again, hopefully I hope he gets another job because he definitely deserves it. But yeah, I do think he's taking a good job, and I hope this goes in a step forward for the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely. So we got to get to the games last week, and we'll start with the big upset in Kansas City, and that was between the Chiefs and the Bengals. You thought in the second quarter the Chiefs were just going to run away with this, get to the Super Bowl for the third year in a row, but this game changed. This is pretty obvious. This game changed when the Chiefs chose to pass up on a field goal, before the end of the first half, and then they went for it. They didn't get it, and the game changed completely. Bengals did a great job making adjustments in the second half, playing some man rushing three, playing man coverage. The Bengals made a great job They did a great job making adjustments. Joe Burrow proved how great he was in that second half, proves why he's probably a top 5 quarterback in this league, leading this Bengals team to the Super Bowl. And this game for the Chiefs, this is going to hurt Mahomes and Reed's legacy to blow this lead. Mahomes, if he wants to be compared to one of the top, to those top quarterbacks, to the Tom Brady's, to the Joe Montanas, to the Peyton Mannings, if he wants to be compared to those top quarterbacks, he's got to win that game. You got a 21-3 lead at home against a team that has not been to a conference championship game in over 30 years, and you blow that lead, that's on you. He had a really, really, really poor second half. Those 2 interceptions were very, very costly. A brutal loss for the Chiefs, but the Bengals, led by Joe Burrow, are going to the Super Bowl. Who would have thought that before the season started?
Yeah, absolutely. It is insane. Again, I had the Bengals, I think, winning 5 or 6 games. I thought Joe Burrow was going to win those 5, 6 games. To see what he's done with Cincinnati, with that offense that they have, again, yeah, before the half, it just seemed like after that mistake that was, at the end of the half there, it just seemed like Mahomes was trying to fix that mistake, and he was, he wasn't as patient in the second half. But again, Zach Taylor and the Bengals made great adjustments. Because that first half, they only rushed like 3 guys. They started to come after him. Again, he was under pressure that whole second half match for Mahomes. And again, it worked. And he just kept trying to make that, big throw, trying to make the big play. And it didn't happen. And then Mahomes made that, because that before the half, he said he thought he had a timeout left, which again, that's on him. That's on Andy Reid. That's inexcusable.
Inexcusable. If you want to be considered great, that is inexcusable not knowing that situation there.
Yeah, it is. You gotta be able to go through all those things in your head. During a timeout, during one of those timeouts, you gotta realize that. Yeah, that's a horrible mistake on him. It just seemed like he was just trying to make up for it. And then the second half too, the Chiefs stopped, doubling Jamar Chase. He got open. Again, I've never seen a quarterback, maybe besides Tom Brady, that's just so cool under pressure, like every single time. Again, like for a guy that broke his leg last year and got sacked 9 times last week, to like just kind of be in that zone and just kind of, just kind of be that relaxed, and composed is unbelievable. And he tore him up the second half. It's a great story with the Bengals. Again, I'm cheering for him. It's been an incredible run. Again, it was a great comeback. Yeah, I thought they were left for dead there at halftime, but again, they took all that momentum of the mistake the Chiefs had in the second quarter, or going to halftime, and they took off and ran with it. It's a great game, and I'm happy for Joe Burrow and the Bengals, man. That was impressive.
Yeah, you talked about it. He's not fazed by the pressure, and I felt like Mahomes, for how great he is, he got fazed by the pressure in the second half. Joe Burrow, nothing fazed him. It seems like all postseason, nothing has fazed this guy. Getting sacked 9 times against the Titans, nothing fazed him. Down 21-3 in the AFC Championship game, nothing fazed him. And I think he's going to be able to handle that pressure of the Super Bowl. I think this game's going to be competitive.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he will too. Again, you got another Rams dominant pass rush here. But yeah, like he's a guy that, again, he may get sacked 5 or 6 times, but again, he's not going to rush his throws after a while. He's not going to do any of that. He's not going to make, I know he made the 1 interception there in the fourth quarter, which I thought was going to turn things. But yeah, he's going to be a great quarterback. He's top 5 right now. Again, the AFC was setting up of him, Allen, Justin Herbert, and all, Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. Again, it's the new generation AFC quarterback. He's going to be right there every year, which is insane. You talk about Cincinnati, but yeah, he's not phased. It was remarkable to see him, under for that much pressure and just be able to keep his cool, find guys, and Mahomes. Again, it looked like the first half of the season, in the Super Bowl. Hector, get to the points when you can. Chiefs should up kick that field goal. Yeah,
absolutely. That was a terrible, terrible decision. That is one of Andy Reid's worst. I mean, I don't know if it was Andy Reid's decision or Patrick Mahomes' decision, but both of them should be at fault for that. I mean, Patrick Mahomes needs to listen to his coach. I'm sorry, I know you're great, but you got to listen to your coach. And Andy Reid, you shouldn't be letting the player decide what to do. As much as I think, Brady was Brady was more, as much as I think Brady was more responsible than Belichick. If Belichick wanted to take points there, The Patriots are taking points back when Brady and Belichick were together. That cannot happen. That sequence costed you a trip to the Super Bowl. Terrible on both ends, Reed and Mahomes. That was absolutely terrible, and is going to hurt both of their legacies that they lost that football game, because that's a game they should have won.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There's no excuse for them to lose that game. Again, you're getting the ball 2 in the second half. Kick the points. Go get a touchdown in the third quarter. Go figure. Don't give them the momentum here. Don't give their defense because they gave that Bengals defense all the momentum in the world making that stop.
Oh, you heard Evan Wasper and Tracy Wilson. It turned around the game. That is probably a completely different football game if they kick that field goal.
Oh, absolutely. Again, that's probably not a game. That the Chiefs probably go on and win by 20 points still. Again, maybe they're all Cincinnati's offense kind of gets rolling, but yeah, I don't see their defense making many stops. Again, yeah, you're exactly right. That changed the game. It absolutely did. And yeah, that again, I don't know what they were thinking. Again, they got too greedy. They got, okay, this team's not going to stop us. Let's get greedy here. Again, I get it. That team, when they're right, it's backyard football. It's like you're playing a video game. You're playing Madden with that team, but they got greedy. Again, you got to kind of get out of that mindset. Okay, we've had a great half. Let's kick the point. Let's kick the points here. Go to the half. We're up what? 24-3 then? Yeah, 24-3. You're up 3 scores. I'm sorry, but I'm not a fan of the analytics. Back in the day, you get the points at every opportunity. Absolutely. I completely agree with you.
Yeah. And I'm a kind of in between old school and analytics, but when you're in that situation, there's no way you don't take the points there. There's no way you don't take the points there. And I don't want to question Andy Reid, but that was a horrible, horrible in-game decision by Andy Reid there. Horrible. And it was at the worst time because it was right before the half. They kicked that field goal. They're up 24-10, have the ball back. If they score one more time, that game's over. Or even if they got a field goal there, that game's probably over. Horrible, horrible in-game decision by Andy Reid.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's got to be one of his worst of his career so far. And again, in the play call too was they ran like a halfback swing pass. They going backwards. Like, what? If you're gonna do it, throw something in the end zone. Throw something to Kelsey. Throw something to Hill. Why? I know the screen's been working for him, but yeah, it just made no sense. It's like I didn't like the play call. Take the points. Yeah, I'm not a big fan, either actor or the analytics. I think this is a perfect example of the game should be played on the field, not what the numbers tell you. It's always every game's different. You can't really replicate the same kind of formula. So I don't get it. I don't get why they got that greedy there. I just don't.
And the thing is people that are all analytics have no sense of game flow. They have no sense of game flow. That's the problem. Oh, how many percent of the time? Oh, well, he makes it this percentage of time. Who cares? If you have a sense of game flow, you're kicking the field goal there. Brendan Staley having a lack of sense of game flow is the reason why the Chargers missed the playoffs. And you just, in that situation, you just gotta have a sense of game flow and do what the right thing is. And the right thing there is to kick the field goal.
Absolutely. It absolutely is. You go 24-3, you get the ball back 2 in the second half. You can go formulate a second half drive now and really put this game out of reach. But then again, you go to the locker room, it's still, you're up big still. You're up, 21-3, but still, again, as we mentioned, you just give the Bengals confidence. Yeah. Again, every game situation is different. I just, that's where I just don't get why the formulas and the numbers always tell you to do this and do that, because every situation is different. And it just, and that's a great thing about sports. That's why, the analytics just don't make sense too much in sport. And in this situation, in game situations, analytics don't make any sense. So actually, you want to find guys analytically, fine. The game situations analytically, just again, I think it's pointless.
Yeah, exactly. That's why, in that situation, you really cannot be going off analytics, and it cost the Chiefs a trip to the Super Bowl. But we got to get to the second game on Sunday, and the Rams finally got over the hump over the 49ers, 20-17. And the difference in this game was the quarterback. I mean, the Rams made the right move, going out and getting Matthew Stafford, improving that position, because there's no way Jared Goff makes that comeback. If they're down like that, if they're down 17-7 against that defense, against Jared Goff, there's no way the Rams win. Matthew Stafford was phenomenal in the fourth quarter. He proved why he's been a solid quarterback in this league. And for over a decade, he played in an absolutely incompetent, he played in an absolutely terrible organization, and that's why he couldn't win playoff games. He proved this year it was the Lions. It wasn't him. I'm not saying, he's a great quarterback, but he is a borderline Hall of Fame quarterback who made a great comeback, who has put his team in a great position. And for the 49ers, the most obvious thing is the takeaway from this game is, and the most obvious takeaway, the Trey Lance era has begun. This is twice they've had a 10-point lead, and they've given it away. They were up 20-10 in the Super Bowl. They lost. They were up in the fourth quarter. They were up 17-7 in the fourth quarter. They lost, and the reason for that is their quarterback has not been able to make a play in the fourth quarter. He's decent, but he's not good enough. It's so obvious that they're going to get rid of Jimmy Garoppolo, and the Trey Lance era is going to begin for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, the Rams, really come back there by Stafford. Garoppolo, I think part of the issue. Again, I think Shanahan got too conservative. Again, that third and short, McVay calls his final timeout there at midfield, and then they end up punting the ball. Didn't they make the same mistake in the Super Bowl? They gave the ball back to Mahomes, and that was it.
I know. Yeah, that fourth and two. This is the NFL in 2022. I was thinking the same thing. The Rams offense has got momentum. They just scored a touchdown. I think you gotta go for it. It's a tough call. It's a tough call when you have Jimmy Garoppolo and you're a defensive team. It's a tough call there on 4th and 2 around the 50-yard line. But the way the game is played today, that's where, and just like the Chiefs should have kicked the field goal. I know it wasn't a huge mistake for the 49ers. Not anywhere near as big of a mistake that the Chiefs made not kicking the field goal. But I think in that spot, you got to go for it and try to win the game there.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you do. I think in this era where it's offenses right now, it just, especially when you get the 2-minute warning, it just seems like it's tough to stop. You got to go. You got to make look, if you give them the short field, you give it to them. You don't want them to drive down like they did, and hit some big plays and kind of give them another shot. In that spot like they did where they get going for it they should have gone for it before the injury. I know they got stuff with the run game, but yeah, this new era, it's not as big of a mistake as a Chiefs one, but I thought you got to go for it. Yeah, in this era, you can't give the other opposing quarterback a chance to win the game himself. You got to be able to try to take it. And I know your defense is playing well. They've been good all year, but you got to, I know Jimmy G's not great, but I thought you got to trust them. Even just a one play there. Again, you got Deebo Samuel. Try something unique with him. Do something. But yeah, I thought that was, to your point there, that was absolutely the game changer, and that just cost the Niners once again of getting into the Super Bowl. The defense was great, but again, in the Rams too got down because they left points on the board early in that game. Stafford threw the pick, in the first there in the first quarter. And then they missed a field goal there. I think it was a 50-yarder there in the second quarter. That was a huge part of it. But look, Stafford this year really showed that it was a big year for Matthew Stafford, and he really proved to the NFL and to everybody that to your point, Steve, of he's a top. He can. He's a very good quarterback, and he just needs to find the right team and the good organization that was going to help him get there.
Absolutely. And I think he proved it was the right decision when he, on that final drive, when he beat Tom Brady, when he knocked Brady out and the Rams scored there. I think he had proved that already. Because you could say, he didn't get even if they lost the 49ers, you could say, we didn't get them to the Super Bowl. But here's the thing with Jared Goff's, quote unquote Super Bowl run. One of those wins was against the Cowboys in the divisional round. Okay. It's a little bit of a difference beating Tom Brady than beating the Cowboys in the divisional round. Okay. And then, in the NFC game, I don't like to ever get on a referee for deciding a game, but that was the one game in my lifetime that an official decided the game when he got to the Super Bowl. So I think if Stafford gets to the Super Bowl, I still think it's the right move. It's not the same as them. It's not the same as it's the right move. It's not like, even if they lose the Super Bowl, they should have stuck with Jared Goff just because they got to the Super Bowl. No, it definitely is the right move. And if Stafford plays well, it's even more the right move because Jared Goff is absolutely pathetic in that Super Bowl. So yes, I don't care if they win or lose the Super Bowl. It was absolutely the right move to trade for Matthew Stafford because Jared Goff ain't winning that game against the Bucs, and he sure as heck is not winning that game against the Niners.
No, absolutely not. It was a good move for the Rams. They mortgaged their whole future. They put it all on Matthew Stafford this year. He's answered the bell, and I forget. Rams run there. Yeah, they beat the Cowboys, and then that pass interference call to end that game was hideous. And Goff was horrible in that Super Bowl. Jared Goff is not beating Tom Brady and Tampa Bay down there in Tampa. There's no way he's making that drive with 40 seconds left to go hit the field goal. There's no way. There's no way he's carving up that defense like Matthew Stafford did. Again, Goff he's okay. He's nothing special. Again, that defense was just that defense was phenomenal. They kept that Rams team in the Super Bowl because their offense just couldn't do anything against New England. But Matthew Stafford shown that you hand him the keys. You give him a good team around him. You give him a good kind of situation. He's gonna do it. It was definitely the right move. It was definitely But Jared Goff is not getting this team to this point. They would have lost to Tampa Bay. Who knows? They may have lost to Arizona in the first round. I think it was a great move by the Rams to kind of go out there and get them. I know McVay kind of was wanting to get a new quarterback, and it's paid off for him.
Absolutely, and it shows you. Buccaneers signed Tom Brady. They won the Super Bowl. Rams trade for Matthew Stafford. They're on the verge of winning the Super Bowl. These teams that want to get these teams that think they're close and want to get Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers, do it because you see what's happened. You see what happened to the Buccaneers last year, and you see what happened to the Rams this year. You go big and you do it.
Absolutely, I think you do. Again, it's a small window. Again, there's only a small kind of chance of having a quarterback like a Tom Brady, like a Aaron Rodgers and Russell Wilson. Like again, there's a reason why every team doesn't have one. So like if you have that opportunity, go get a top 5, top 10 quarterback, and it's kind of that missing piece of the puzzle. You got to do it. You have to, because that's how in 2021, 2022, it's offense. It's not the defense doesn't win any championships anymore. It's the offense, and without a top of the line quarterback, again, you're not going to be able to win many Super Bowls unless you have like the '85 Bears defense. It's really the only way you're going to win a Super Bowl now is with the top quarterback. It really is.
Absolutely. So now we'll look at the 49ers side. And the most obvious thing is obviously they're going to get the Trey Lance going to be their starter next year. That's obvious. But for Jimmy Garoppolo, what's next for him? I'm thinking I looked at 5 teams for him. The Bucks, the Broncos, the Steelers, Washington, the Texans. I think the Steelers and the Broncos are going to be in the Aaron Rodgers sweepstakes. They're going to go really, really hard in the Aaron Rodgers or the Russell Wilson sweepstakes. The Bucks, I think they could be in those sweepstakes, but I don't think the Buccaneers are going to trade. I don't think the Packers are going to trade Aaron Rodgers within the conference. I think Rodgers is going to get traded to an AFC team. That's why I think, as we said earlier, the Bucs are the most likely destination. Also, Washington and the Texans could definitely be a destination too. I think the top 2 destinations right now are going to be the Bucs. I think the top 2 destinations right now are the Bucs and Washington because both those teams need a quarterback. They're both, they're both not, they both probably wouldn't be Super Bowl contenders with Jimmy G, but it would still make them team. They would still have, they'd still be credible teams if they had Jimmy G as their quarterback. The Bucs will obviously be better than Washington, but I think the top 2 landing spots for Garoppolo right now are the Buccaneers and the Washington Commanders.
Yeah, the Commanders. Yeah, to me, you gotta get used to that. But yeah, Jimmy G. Yeah, Trey again. I know we talked about Tampa Bay going there. I think be a good fit. They still should win that division. Washington, as well. I lay in a division too, where again, second place is kind of wide open in a division where you could steal some games. You can kind of steal a spot there to get the wild card. I think it'd be a really nice spot there for Jimmy G to go to Washington. Again, I don't think Heineke's that guy. Fitzpatrick's a free agent. I don't think he's going back to Washington. They've been trying to miss in that franchise guy, and they've kind of have been, around 500. They found ways to get the playoffs without, like a franchise type quarterback guy. So bringing in Jimmy Garoppolo, again, I think it's only going to help their situation there. Denver, yeah, I could see him going to Denver as well. I do think, yeah, the Aaron Rodgers suite, I think they go all in there with Aaron Rodgers. What a division that will be. Him, Herbert, Mahomes.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That'd be a crazy division. If he goes to Denver, that'd be a crazy division. And even if say Rodgers goes to the Steelers, that'd be a crazy division too. Burrow, Rodgers, and Lamar, and then you got Cleveland's roster too. That would be a crazy division as well.
Yeah, that North Division too. I didn't even think about them. Yeah, Rodgers goes there. Yeah, that West Division. The offensive explosion that is going to be in those two divisions, or could possibly, if Rodgers goes with one of those two teams, it would be insane. But yeah, going to Denver again. Yeah, if their plans kind of fall short and they can't get Rodgers for whatever reason, I think Jimmy G is a good backup plan there. Go to Denver again. He's not going to be able to outscore Mahomes or Justin Herbert, but I think with their defense, they'll keep them in games. Number 4, the Texans. Yeah, who knows what the Deshaun Watson kind of situation is here. Again, Davis played well this year, but I don't know if he's gonna. I don't think he's a franchise quarterback guy. He played well at times. And again, we'll see what the new coach wants there. But I guess it would not be a bad situation. I know Jimmy G wants to go to a winning situation. That obviously wouldn't be. But I think that it's very possible, again, depending on what happens with Deshaun Watson here. And then with the Steelers, I think, another good one. They have some weapons around them. Again, that offensive line's got to get fixed up a bit. Again, as you mentioned, that division to be very difficult. Probably not going to be out duel, Joe Burrow or maybe even a Lamar Jackson. But I think they do have a talent enough. Again, I don't think, if they're really starting Mason Rudolph over Dwayne Haskins again, I don't think that. I figured maybe Tomlin was going to kind of maybe figure something out with Haskins, but it doesn't seem like they did. So I think Jimmy G is a good option there in Pittsburgh if he falls there.
Absolutely. So we'll see what happens with Jimmy G. But we got to get to my team's coaching hire. And on Monday, Brian Daboll had his press conference with the Giants. He was introduced as the 20th head coach of the New York Giants. And I got 5 takeaways from the press conference. First, it looks like he's going to go with Daniel Jones. It looks like, they're going to design an offense to fit Daniel Jones' skill set. This is the year for Daniel Jones. If he doesn't get it done this year, he's obviously going to be gone. But it feels like publicly, we don't know for sure, but it feels like publicly Daboll is going to go with Daniel Jones this year. Second, he's making no promises, which I like. I like people that under promise and overperform. It looks like this could be one of these coaches that does that. He's not someone who's going to come out like, I think Rex Ryan was a decent coach, but come out like Rex Ryan and say, "Oh, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that." He's not. Or when we went to when Rex was in his Bills press conference, he said, "Oh, we're going to the playoffs. I guarantee." He's not making any guarantees. He knows there's a lot of work to do. He knows he's going to start from scratch. He knows this organization has been terrible for almost a decade. He knows what he's dealing. I've seen this. I've seen it 3 times before with McAdoo, Shermer, and Judge. I think he feels like he knows what he's up against, and I feel like he's willing to grind. He's willing to try to get this team to where it needs to be. My other takeaway is Patrick Graham is probably, because it looks like there's a good chance Harbaugh. We'll get to that. Harbaugh's going to get the job in Minnesota. It looks like Patrick Graham's going to be back as defensive coordinator, which that's the one coach on the staff I don't mind being on the staff because the defense wasn't as good as it was the year before, but it wasn't terrible this year. So I don't mind Patrick Graham being on that staff, being on the staff of the defensive coordinator. They work together in New England, so I don't mind that. Fourth, he knows the pressure of the New York. I feel like he knows the pressure of the market. He was joking around with the reporters a little bit there, but he knows the pressure of the market of coaching New York. And then last, he's gonna be. It feels like he's gonna be himself. He's not gonna be like Bill Belichick or Nick Saban. We know that. The problem the last time was, Joe Judge was trying to emulate Belichick and Saban, so he's gonna be himself. I feel like he's gonna be who he is with the team. He's gonna be himself. So, we've seen this before as Giant fans, coaches, coming in and out. But we'll see if this one works. It is a little bit of a guessing game because, they hire Brian Flores. We kind of know he's a good coach. Daboll, he was a really good offensive coordinator in Buffalo, but we don't know how he's going to be as a head coach. But from what I've seen from the press conference, I am confident with him going forward.
Yeah, I think Brian Daboll is is going to be a good hire. Again, I know time will tell. But I think, again, I think we kind of, when they hired Joe Shine, I think they kind of knew where they were going here with the coaching decision. But yeah, I like how, again, they kind of talk about Daniel Jones, wanting to use him and trying to, because I think part of it is, because again, as he mentioned, was like, they want to find a skill set that fits them. And I think it's like the same thing with you go back to like Sam Darnold and the Jets. He didn't get any help. And I know Darnold didn't help his case in Carolina, but Daniel Jones really had not. They tried to help build the team around him offensively. It didn't really pan out this year. But, I like how they're going to try to fit to what's best for Daniel Jones and not try to force, guys kind of on, try to build the team around them. And it just didn't seem like it fit because I think the coaching staff before, last couple of years have kind of failed them. And I think Brian Daboll's going to help them find that skill set. And again, if it doesn't work next season, it doesn't work and they go to a different direction. If it works, again, hey, great. I know we kind of got into that last week about, Daniel Jones and what his ceiling could be or what, expectations of his ceiling, could be. But I do like him. That was a good hire for the New York Giants. Because, he seemed, as you mentioned, he seemed real. Joe Judge was kind of, he tried to be Bill and Saban. It just does not work. Again, and that, you got to be yourself in this job. He's loose in the interview, in the press conference. Again, he seems like a hard worker. Again, the development that he did with Josh Allen, that Bills offense. Again, he's the one guy that Bill Belichick was not able to figure out quarterback wise. That's something I think you had to, take account to is, Bill really could not figure out how to stop him. And, for what he did there, but with the Bills. So I think it was a good hire. Again, and he's a guy too that I think that he's been assistant coach on both sides of the ball, defensively and offensively, which is really rare. And I think that's a really good testament of kind of knowing, the positions, kind of, knowing ins and out of kind of being on both sides of the ball and how different coaches teach different things offensively and defensively and different. So I think it could be a big plus that he's been a guy that has coached defense as well and kind of knows it very well instead of that like one niche that he really kind of works on, where, kind of things offensively, but he seems like he could, coach defense as well. So I think that's another really good thing here for the Giants. But I think it's a good hire for the Giants. And again, they're due for a good hire. They are due for a good coach here.
Absolutely. And the thing is we'll see what happens. We'll see how, when the Giants was a tough game, we'll see how Daboll responds, and can he get those guys to trust him that he's taking this team in the right direction. So we'll see what happens there. But we'll go to some more coaching hires. Josh McDaniels finally gets another coaching job at the Raiders. I think he learned from his first opportunity. We'll see what happens here. But I have a feeling that the reason he went there is because he wants to work with Derek Carr. So we'll see what ends up happening there.
Yeah, interesting one, Raiders. Yeah, again, I guess. After the first situation with Denver and then with the fall with the Colts there, it was interesting that he got this one. I did read, because it sounded like the Patriots last offseason or 2 off seasons ago did try to make a trade for Derek Carr. So it sounds like Josh McDaniels does like Derek Carr, which I think is a good sign because I think the Raiders should want to keep Derek Carr. We'll see. Again, I hope it works out for McDaniels and the Raiders and he can kind of get them to compete in the AFC West, a very difficult AFC West. It's not going to be a uphill battle here, but I think it's time will tell. Still not sold on the hire here with the Raiders, but he's a great offensive mind. I think he'll do good things with Derek Carr, but time will tell to see if he can get the Raiders kind of back up and going again.
Yeah, we'll see what happens there. And lastly, Jim Harbaugh having a second interview today with the Raiders. The Vikings are eyeing on him potentially being the head coach, and I'm telling you, I think the Vikings should do it. And I think Harbaugh should get another shot at the NFL. I think, last year was kind of his best shot at Michigan. I think he has Ohio State's attention now that he finally beat them. You saw that semifinal game. It's hard recruit. I think Harbaugh is a little bit more suited for the NFL because I just don't think he is the greatest recruiter. You saw it at Michigan. He lost so many times to Ohio State, eventually beat him, but you saw in a big game when he got Michigan in the semifinal game, they weren't competitive. So I think Harbaugh should take this opportunity and say Aaron Rodgers gets traded. I think if Harbaugh is the coach and Rodgers gets traded, there's a great chance that Minnesota's going to be hosting a playoff game next year because I think they win the NFC North.
Yeah, I could absolutely see it. That division's going to be wide open. Yeah, because Harbaugh's won wherever he's gone. That Niners, what he did there after the 6-10 year, again, got him the Super Bowl. Did a remarkable job with the Niners. So again, what he built at Stanford too, like that's one of the toughest jobs with the academic, standards that go on up there. Again, to make that program, one of the best in the Pac-12, make them a contender, was remarkable. And yeah, with Michigan this year, finally. And I was reading something a few weeks ago, right when he kind of took, when rumors started he was going to take an NFL job. Again, he kind of said that he just wanted to get Michigan a Big Ten title. He wanted to beat Ohio State. He just wanted to get to the playoffs. He just wanted to leave in a better spot than he did. And this is the perfect opportunity now to take off and run. The interesting is today's signing day, college football. So I don't know where Michigan would go if he does leave. And it sounds like he's kind of told recruits that he is probably going to take another job if one comes to him. But yeah, it seems like this is going to be the one. He's got a relationship, sounds like, with the new GM there, because going back to time with the Niners. So I think it'd be a good one for Jim Harbaugh. They should be right there competing in the NFC North, especially Rodgers leaves.
Absolutely. So we'll wrap up talking about the Washington football team. They changed their name to the Commanders. I felt like the name change was necessary. They really couldn't be sticking with Redskins, and I felt like the team needed a name. The Washington football team, I don't think that could have really lasted for a long time. So I like the fact they changed their name to the Commanders, and I like the name change.
Yeah, I like it. It goes back to the DC kind of roots, military. It sounds like Jason Wright, and Ron Rivera have some military ties, so I kind of like it. So I do think it's a good one. Their uniforms look like Arizona State's uniforms, though. Like they kind of the scheme. Yeah, I kind of looked at them from a distance. They looked like the Sun Devils ones, but because I did not like the Washington football team because it sounded like a European soccer team. Like, isn't that all their like Manchester United like soccer? Yeah, I just thought it was dumb. Sounded like a soccer team. I do like it. I do like the name. They had to change it, so I do think it's a good one. Hopefully, maybe this name change will turn around the entire franchise.
We'll see. And did it really take them 2 years to go with the Commanders? I know. They probably could have, right after they dropped the Redskins, they probably could have, came up with the Commanders. But exactly. But, UConn lost a tough game last night, and we got the biggest rivalry in college basketball this weekend. Before we talk about that, we got a promo from Clovercrest Media.
Do you have a 401k and some savings for future retirement, but don't even know if it's enough to live off of? How much is enough? How often are you thinking about it? The team at JPEX Financial Group can help set your mind at ease. We specialize in creating strategies in the planning and managing of your financial, educational, and investment needs. We help clients pursue their investment goals with sound financial strategies. You deserve a personal, tailored plan. Lasting, meaningful, and open relationships are the foundation of our practice. You've worked hard for your money and should feel confident in your investment choices as you make decisions for your financial future. Your goals are our goals. We are dedicated to your needs and hopes for your future. Visit our website and give us a call at 860-430-5397. Securities offered through Raymond James Financial Services, Inc., member FINRA, SIPC. Investment advisory services offered through Raymond James Financial Services Advisors, Inc. JPEX Financial Group, LLC is not a registered broker-dealer and is independent of Raymond James Financial Services. JPEX Financial Group is located at 78 Eastern Boulevard, Glastonbury, Connecticut.
So a tough loss for UConn last night. A loss I don't think we expected. As their 5-game winning streak got snapped, they lost to Creighton 59-55. And this is what happens when your three best players have bad games. Sanago didn't have a good game, Cole didn't have a good game, and Martin didn't have a good game. Thank God for Whaley. Whaley kept him in the game. He had 20 points last night, but just a bad loss. But definitely their worst loss of the season to a very young Creighton team. I mean, Ryan Hawkins, I think his name's Ryan Hawkins. He had over 20 points. He had 23 points last night. They're pretty much, I think he's one of their few experienced players. Yet Creighton's a very young team. Lost a lot of guys from last year. So a disappointing loss. I'm not going to, go crazy about it because, it's one of them. But the problem is for UConn, coming up, 6 of their next 7 games are against teams in the tournament. They got the game at Villanova. They host Marquette next Tuesday. And then they got a 3-game week because they play at Xavier.
Mm-hmm.
They got Xavier twice. They got at St. John's. Their only game against the team that's not in the tournament is at St. John's, and they only beat them, and they had to go to overtime to beat them the last time. Seton Hall and then Nova again. So really tough stretch for the Huskies. I know they won 5 in a row, but all 5 of those wins are against teams that are not in the tournament. They finally faced a team that's was one of Lenardi's first 4 outs, a team that's right on the fringe of making the NCAA tournament. They lost. So, Justin, is there concern for this UConn team going forward? 15-5, 6-3 in the Big East. Is there concern for this UConn team going forward?
Yeah, I'm concerned. You go back. So go back to Saturday. RJ Cole saved you. You were horrible then. You missed a ton of free throws. Then you beat Georgetown last Wednesday or last Tuesday. Again, that Georgetown team, they're bad. They horrible. Go back to the Butler game, at Hinkle Fieldhouse 2 weeks ago. Martin saved you in the second half. Horrible first half. They couldn't score. Martin was the only one that could score in the second half. You go back to Butler the game before against them. They couldn't really pull away from Butler either, scoring wise. Teams have figured out Hurley's kind of this team actually. Pack the paint, let him shoot, let Willie shoot from behind the arc. Every time Adamas Sanogo catches in the paint, go double him. Go make somebody else beat you. Sanogo cannot pass out of the paint. Cole, then they just have Cole, Martin, Sanogo. They're just too inconsistent. And guys off the bench right now. Jordan Hawkins, who I think is going to be a lottery pick, he's broken. He's got such a great shot too. I don't know. I hope I don't know what's going on, but I hope he fixes whatever's going on right now. Again, that's problematic. Again, Gabby he looks like a shell of himself. He looks slower defensively. Again, his handling hasn't been great. Decision making. He looks like he's too scared to make a mistake. Cook. He's just offensively he's not great. Defensively, he's not strong enough.
Offensively, a Cook is terrible. Let's be honest. A Cook is terrible offensively.
Yeah. Again, he's got that quarter 3. It's once in a blue moon, but he's just not strong enough to play in the paint. That's kind of his big problem. And again, McDermott absolutely outcoaches him. I think for the 4th time because he outcoached him 3 times last year. Outcoached him again last night because he makes adjustments. Again. Ryan Colbrenner, their only big guy, gets hurt, and you stop driving. I know you couldn't finish a layup, but go try to draw a foul. The stuff that just goes on, their offense is just horrible. And it's not getting fixed against Nova. Again, Marquette is good. Again, they're lucky the first time Dale Marcel did not play. He's a great defender. He's going to lock up, probably RJ Cole. And again, Xavier on the road is not going to be easy. The Cintas Center is a difficult place to go to. I can't see them winning there. And again, when they played the competent teams of the Big East, they've struggled. Again, Seton Hall doesn't even look that good anymore. I know Bryce Atkins been out, but again, that's an inexcusable loss now. And this is where I'm getting on Hurley. The last 2 years in games that are decided by 5 points or less, Dan Hurley is 1-7. He was 24-31 at Rhode Island. And Ed Cooley this year, he's 8-0. It's again, Providence does not have talent. They have talent, but again, they shouldn't be 91 in the Big East. Again, I think you have got more talent than Providence, but they got a better coach.
Yeah, exactly.
I put Lawrence on Hurley.
Oh yeah, recruiting and not making adjustments. And the last 2 games under 50 points, not against great teams either. I mean, Creighton and DePaul scoring under 50 points. I'm telling you, I know the Big East is not as strong as the Big Ten or the SEC or the Big 12, but scoring under 50 points is not beating Villanova. There's no way you're beating Villanova scoring under 50 points.
Oh, absolutely.
No, I mean under 60. Under 60. Under 60. Yeah.
Yeah, under 60. Yeah, you got no shot. And look, Villanova is not the team that's going to get up and down. Like they want to play in the 60s. They score like 72 a game. Nova, again, the way they're playing, Nova loves this because because UConn does not, for whatever reason, they don't try to run. You're not, again, DePaul was missing the one player that deserves to be in the Big East on that team, at Javonte Freeman Liberty, and you still struggled to beat them. Ryan Hawkins, again, he's been great, and he's been, since he's gotten going, but he's a guy that's been playing D2 basketball the last 3 years. This guy's a D2 transfer. He's coming in here, and he owned all of them. He scored after points. Nieberham looks like a really good point guard. He's going to be talented. His brother's Andrew Nembhard, the Gonzaga point guard. Again, this Creighton team's gotten a lot better since, when they were playing November, and they struggled to beat a lot of pretty bad teams. But yeah, again, I've never seen a team miss so many layups. I just don't get it. I don't know how you miss so many layups.
Missed a lot of free throws last night too.
Yep. Yeah, Cole missed 2 big ones. He's 90% at the line. Again, Nova's, again, the way they play, especially the way they've come out and played, for Dan Hurley, for us, fiery as a guy he is, his team the last few games has not come out motivated at all. Besides the Georgia game, I don't know. I'm really kind of shaking my head and kind of, again, I'm not sitting here saying fire Hurley or anything like that. But again, I really do have a big problem with the way some of these games these coaches watch. Because their offense, again, doesn't work.
No. And the thing is, as we now shift over to the Villanova game, Sinago is the advantage UConn has. Villanova doesn't have a great inside game, but Sinago is the advantage, is the advantage they have against Phil. That's kind of like UConn does have an inside game, Villanova doesn't. But the thing is, Villanova has guys you can rely on that can shoot the ball. Gillespie and Moore you can rely on. Cole is good and Martin are good, but they need Sinago to be a factor for them to have good games. And you saw that, last night. I mean, if Nova's going to double Sinago, force Cole and Martin to beat him. And if UConn doesn't make shots, there is no way they beat Villanova. No way at all. If they don't hit their shots, that they beat Villanova.
Oh yeah, they got no chance at all. They don't. Because again, inside game. But I think, but Jay Wright's a good coach. He's going to pack the paint. He's going to double Sinago, and he's going to make someone else beat him. And again, I don't know that, again, maybe Cole or Martin has one of those days, or Whaley again could kind of carry this team, but I don't see it. I think Villanova's got enough athleticism to be able to kind of stop them. Eric Dixon, their big guys, kind of developed, and he's played well this year, but he's 6'8". Again, he's big body, but Sinaga's got a couple inches on him. They should be able to win this game. Or no, I mean they're if Sinaga can kind of go off and somehow again I just don't know. Again, I've just never seen a one basketball player not be able to pass. It's just he just doesn't. I don't know, for whatever reason he can't pass. But if they don't hit their shots, they got no chance. Again, they need something off the bench. Like they need a Jordan Hawkins. I don't know. He's just rushing.
Or Tyler
rushing shots.
Or Tyler Pauly to come off the bench and step up. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, Pauly, I cannot figure out. Pauly either goes 0 for 9 or 10 for 10. And again, usually it's that first shot that kind of tells you. But I can't trust Pauly. Again, I keep waiting for that 20-point outburst like he had against Marquette, but I don't think that's coming. But yeah, he's got to play better. It's like sometimes too. Some games he'll go attack the glass and he'll go get a foul. Or some games he'll just sit at the perimeter and just kind of wait around. They need him to be more aggressive when his shot's not falling. It's stuff like that. But yeah, again, Nova's offense is nothing special. Like I think they could, if they could, slow down, because Nova's offense it's iso ball. It's all 1-on-1 because it's a lot of dribbling. And and I like Jackson on Gillespie because he's a really good defender. Now, Gillespie, because he's a fifth-year senior, too, if he gets in that paint, he'll throw the elbows and he gets away with it every single time. So you cannot let him get position down there. But again, just don't get fooled for back cuts. Don't get fooled backdoor. Again, Nova kind of plays aggressively defensively, too. Again, they don't try back doors. They don't try back cutting. Or they do. It seems like they're going half speed. So there's kind of a lot of things wrong. Again, I think they have the talent they can put it together to win. But the way they've been playing, I don't think they will, though.
I don't think so. I think they're going to double Sinago. I think they're going to struggle to shoot the ball. I think Nova wins this game by double digits. I really do. I think UConn stays in this funk, and I think Nova wins it by double digits.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think they do too. I don't really have confidence. Again, I think they can slow down Gillespie, but as long as Justin Moore and they got Jeremiah Samuels out there, I think they step up and do enough. Again, they don't have much of a bench either. It's kind of their starters are kind of their point scorers. So again, I could see him hanging in there just because Nova's going to play it slow. But yeah, I can't see them knocking down shots, and Nova can. And they got a tough one tonight going to Marquette, but Villanova does. But yeah, I think I see Villanova coming out here and beating them Saturday. I can't see the way UConn's playing. Again, I hope they come out guns blazing, but I don't feel really confident in that right now.
Yeah, me neither. So we got a couple big games on Saturday in college basketball. First, we got the defending national champions Baylor going to Kansas, and I think Kansas wins this game. Baylor really hasn't impressed me that much. I mean, they won on Monday night, but they really haven't impressed me. They lost at Alabama, and they beat West Virginia, but they gave up a lot of points. They gave up 87 to Alabama. Alabama's got some really good guards, as we saw last night. Even though they got crushed, they're probably the best team in the country, one of the best teams in the country. You saw with West Virginia, they gave up 77. Taz Sherman had a great game. So I don't trust Baylor's defense that much, and I don't think they really have that one guy that's going to really dominate the game. They don't have that, Jared Butler, that Davion Mitchell they had last year. I think they're good. They're not as good as last year. And I think Kansas wins this game against Baylor.
Yeah, right now I got the Baylor Bears on the road. Again, if they're healthy, both teams kind of with some questionable injury. LJ Cry didn't play Monday night. And James Akinjo, like Baylor's just they've kind of been hit by the injury bug. They've kind of had guys playing hurt, and I think it's affected them. But Akinjo's been playing with a pretty bad back. LG Cryer was out. He's averaging 14 a game. Don't know if he's going to play Saturday. I believe he's still questionable. But like the thing about Kansas is though, their defense is horrible. And you saw what Kentucky did. Kentucky's got athletes. Kansas does not have the horses to run with Kentucky. And I think Baylor exposes that. I think Baylor exposes the way Kansas defense. Again, Kansas was playing a diamond in two, and Kentucky was, wow. Bill Self had no answers. And I think Baylor's going to be able to expose kind of the same type of stuff Kentucky was. I think James Akinjo is a great distributor, and he's a very good scorer too. Matthew Meyer, he's a guy that could score 20 a game, but usually he's not called on to do that because they have enough scores. And I could see him having a big night. And Ojabari was in COVID protocols last night. He missed the game. It sounds like they're hoping to play Saturday. They're optimistic he will, but it's not 100%. If they miss a guy like him against the Baylor team, I think you're going to really struggle. And Remy Martin, who has played well for him, is going to be out for an extended period of time here. So they're going to need David McCormick down low where they kind of, over, Tommy Chabawa, the Baylor big guy. But again, I like Baylor. I think Baylor's a better team. I think Kansas is somewhat fraudulent like they usually are. I don't think they're that, they think there's still some fraudulently in that team, and I think Baylor exposes that on a Saturday evening.
Yeah, and I think one thing that was proven last week too was that the SEC. I think we know the Big Ten is clearly the best conference. You agree the Big Ten is clearly the best conference in college basketball, but I think last week exactly. But yeah, I think last week, I think the SEC proved they're the second best conference in college basketball with Kentucky beating Kansas the way they did, and with Alabama beating Baylor.
Yeah, and I think again, I think it's a testament to the SEC really started to put money back into their basketball programs. You're really seeing that again. Bruce Pearl is making more than Brian Harsin, the football coach. When do you ever think you see a school like Auburn pay more in a basketball coach than their football coach? I think that's remarkable what they're doing there. So yeah, you're kind of seeing Alabama's, with Nate Oates, obviously Kentucky, LSU, Will Wade. Again, he's not the most, trustworthy guy out there, but again, he's made LSU pretty good at basketball once again. So yeah, the SEC, man, they've made a great investment in the basketball. Yeah, I think, again, they have a lot of talent. Like I think in the Big 12, I think you got one national championship contender, that's Baylor. Texas Tech, I'd put kind of more towards the back there with the Kansas on the back burner.
I still have KU there though in the Big 12. I know you don't like them, but I still have KU there.
I think this is not. I think Bill Self's had better Kansas teams in this. I think Ojabari could lead them to the national championship, but I'm not really sold on this Kansas team right now. I'd put them back there with Texas Tech, kind of that second tier. But yeah, I think SEC, like Auburn, again, Alabama could win it, but they're just so reliant on the 3-point ball that I can't see them getting hot for 6 straight days. But if they could win it. Again, LSU, if they kind of get healthy, they can't score, but again, defensively, they're really, really good on that side of the ball. But yeah, like I think the SEC, they got a lot of really good teams that are upper echelon of teams there, and they're really beating each other up. And obviously Kentucky, again, Calipari, I'm not a big fan of them, but again, when they're good, when they're on and when they can hit shots, it's really tough to beat them. So yeah, I think the SEC right now, again, it's a gauntlet, that top kind of tier of it. But yeah, I got to go SEC too. Big 12-3, even though they could really get, like Oklahoma State's not eligible, but they could really, actually Kansas State probably took themselves out of it. But again, Big 12 could get 8 teams in the tournament once again.
We'll see what happens there. But we got to get to the big game, and it's the big game every year. They play twice. Duke has the Chapel Hill to play North Carolina. Coach Hayes' final trip back to Chapel Hill. I am going with Duke. They're the better team, clearly. But I do think North Carolina gives them a game. They're hot. They've won 4 in a row. But I think Duke is clearly the better team. That's why I think they win on Saturday night in Chapel Hill.
Yeah, I got Duke very cautiously because North Carolina's been a totally different team at home than on the road. For whatever reason, they have not been able to go on the road to win. I think for Carolina, if they want to win this game, it's Caleb Love. He played 2 really good games last year at Duke. He has his career at 25 points against them last year. He's got to be on, and if he can knock down shots consistently, North Carolina did a very good shot to win this game. If not, I think they're going to struggle. Even though Mario Baycott has been an absolute beast down low, probably one of the best rebounders in the entire country. I could, he's going to have to be on. Mark Williams going to have a tough assignment down there. The problem with Duke is they have one really consistent 3-point shooter, and that's AJ Griffin. Again, Joey Baker at times can hit shots, but not consistently. Ben Churro is not a great 3-point shooter. Keels really isn't either, and he was not good on Monday night. I know he's still banged up, but again, if Duke can't knock down shots, I think they're in some trouble here. But I do think talent-wise they are better than North Carolina. I'm not a big fan so far of Hubert Davis. Tar Heel fans are not either. He's not in a good kind of start here. So I got to go Duke kind of close here on the road. But wouldn't it shock me to see Carolina pull up the upset here against the Blue Devils?
And you talked about, the lack of 3-point shooting. Even the game the other night, they weren't scoring that many points against Notre Dame, but I just think they clearly played a better team. And the ACC is just – it's second year in a row. What's wrong with you? What's up with the ACC? It's been bad. They're worse than the Big East. They're worse than the Big East right now. They're worse than the Big East.
Well, maybe not
it's close. But they don't have I don't think they have. I mean, they have Duke, but outside of that, they don't have. UCLA and Arizona are 2 top teams. But outside of Duke, I know Miami's played well, but the ACC is not good at all this year.
No, it's not. Again, UConn, blessing in disguise, they did not get that. They did not get that invitation because they'd be with Syracuse and Pitt and kind of mediocre type right now. Because again, just another story for another day. But yeah, I do love that the ACC is struggling like this. So again, I hope all those old Big East teams that left go rot. So that I hope they all turn into Boston College. That's kind of my hope is. And again, it's going pretty well right now. It is bad in league. It is horrible.
Yeah, that league is not good at all. Not good at all. But we got some NBA news. We got John Morant heading to the Garden. We got the Knicks and Lakers going at it on Saturday night. But before we talk about that, we got a promo from Clovercrest Media.
Apps can do a lot of cool things. You could order dinner, gamble on your favorite team, and track your health. You could even get a mortgage. One click and you can be approved. I'm not sure by who or what country they're in. You deserve more from the mortgage industry. At AnyMac Home Mortgage, we believe in the need for live human interaction during a very complex process. The kind of service and guidance which an app simply can't provide. Our customers are more than credit scores and income documents. They're individuals and families who live in and strengthen our communities. Their story is our story, and that story begins in a home. Chris Sawyer is an expert on providing superior customer service and in meeting the mortgage needs of current and future home buyers. With over 18 years of experience in the industry, Chris is able to help customers migrate through the home buying and home financing process by using his wealth of knowledge as a well-qualified mortgage professional. And best of all, Chris is located in Cromwell, Connecticut, where he has helped hundreds of clients in Connecticut, Massachusetts, and Rhode Island make their dreams of home ownership a reality. Visit chrissawyer.annie-mac.com. Email him at csawyer@annie-mac.com or give him a call, 860-878-8730.
Chris Sawyer, NMLS number 39345, corporate NMLS number 338923. Annie Mac Home Mortgage is an equal housing lender. American Neighborhood Mortgage Acceptance Company, LLC. DBA Annie Mac Home Mortgage. Lo-Fi Direct. Connecticut First Mortgage Correspondent. License lender. Broker number ML 338923. Massachusetts Mortgage Lender and Mortgage Broker License number MC 338923. Rhode Island License Lender. License number 201128110L. Call for additional details.
So in the NBA, we got Ja Morant taking his talents to the Garden tonight, and this is exciting. It's going to be exciting to see, Ja Morant play at the Garden against the Knicks. He's Ja Morant's just been phenomenal. He's proved this year that why he's a top 10 player. He improved his 3-point shooting. He can get to the basket. He's really just so difficult to defend. Clearly proven why he's the top guy in that draft class with Zion Williams and RJ Barrett and the Knicks. They were one pick away from getting that number 2 pick. And if they got that number 2 pick and they got Ja Morant, things would be totally different with them.
Yes, it would. Yeah, it would. It would be a lot different with them. Because obviously the Knicks were going to go get him. Because that's kind of, without their growth, it's kind of what the Knicks have been missing. Again, he's been a star. I don't get all the most improved player hype for Ja Morant. He's been a good player the first 2 years. I don't know how you got most improved player. I've been seeing him get being like the favorite, which I don't really get. But yeah, he makes everybody else around him. Desmond Bane's been unbelievable this year. Jaren Jackson's played well. Dylan Brooks, when he's been healthy, he's been unbelievable. He just makes everybody else around him. And yeah, he's been a top player. And again, going to Garden, it seems like everybody else elevates their game when they step foot in that building. So I expect another monster performance from Ja Morant tonight in New York. He's been phenomenal this year.
Absolutely, and I think why people call him the most improved is now he's up on that top echelon. He's a superstar now. The first 2 years he was a very good player, but now that he's developed that 3-point shot, he's now up there with the top players in the league. He's up there. He's in the top 10 now. I think that's why people are saying he is the most improved. Yeah, he's in that conversation.
Okay, that makes sense. I don't know if I would vote him there because he's always been a good player since coming in the league. But because he had developed kind of that shot this year. That was the one thing he was lacking, But I remember when they played in the tournament in Hartford a couple years ago. They kind of allowed free entrance into the practices the day before. And I remember going to see him and to just practice and just the athleticism, what he was doing, and it just up close, the dunks he was throwing down. Again, it was something special to watch. You kind of see that he was going to be a superstar. You saw it what he was doing at Murray State, and again, it comes to show that the recruiting stars don't really matter. But yeah, he's been an absolute star. He's developed his game, and again, I know I've taken a shot at Ben Simmons, but this is what happens when you develop your game. When you try to get better, this is what happens.
Yeah, you look at a guy like Ben Simmons. That's why he can't get traded. Nobody wants him because he doesn't have a 3-point shot. And in today's game, these point guards that can't shoot threes are not great players. That's just the reality of the situation. Especially in the NBA.
Absolutely. Again, with the new kind of analytics on you to take threes and get in more layups and all that, get in the line. Yeah, teams want guys that are going to be able to shoot the 3 ball, and they've been able to do it. And, Ja Morant's been able to kind of be able to do it. And yeah, you got to survive in this league and to be that superstar guy, you got to be able to hit those shots. And Ja Morant has now become able to do that. And you kind of see what it's done with the Memphis Grizzlies. It really has helped. It really has helped everybody else around him get a lot better because he is a threat from back there now.
They're a legitimate contender in the East because of him. And they got solid pieces around him. Bane, Dylan Brooks, Jaren Jackson got solid pieces around him. But they are a contender. They are a title contender because of Ja Morant and the way Ja Morant was able to work on his game this offseason.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. They're right there. And, again, the Western Conference right now, outside the Suns, you got the Warriors again, it's pretty much everybody else's kind of, like anybody else can kind of win that division or that whole conference. I think they do have a really good, good chance coming out of that of the Western Conference. If they get healthy, I know Brooks has been out, but like, he gets healthy, I think they'll be okay. Again, I know Adams has been out too. He's not great, but like if they get, production like they have, out of Morant, all those guys, again, the way they play defense, they're pretty good defensively as well. Again, Morant's a superstar. That's what you need. And you need a superstar. And again, if you get just a couple decent players around that can do enough and kind of step up the load, if the star is kind of off that evening, you can win a championship. And I think the Grizzlies have that recipe to be able to do it.
Absolutely. Now moving on to the Saturday night game between the Knicks and the Lakers. Right now, both teams have the same record, 24-27. Both teams have been disappointing. I think the Lakers a little bit more than the Knicks, but we'll start with the Knicks issues. And really the biggest issue with the Knicks is the roster. I mean, I think they just don't have that go-to guy. They don't have that superstar. RJ Barrett he's gotten hot, but he's not been that guy that the Knicks were hoping for when they drafted number 3 overall as in terms of being a superstar. Julius Randle, as I said last year, and I think the way he's played in the playoffs has shown what he is. He's a very, very good number 2. He's not a number 1. Evan Fournier, he is so streaky. He's so up and down. Mitchell Robinson, decent defensively, but not good offensively. So you end up, you look at this Knicks roster, it's just, and then Kemba Walker. I think his best days are behind. We hate to say it, but his best days are behind him. So you look at this Knicks roster. It's not Tom Thibodeau. I think it's the overall roster. Why the East is more competitive in the overall roster. It's why the Knicks have not taken the next step this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Because I'm like, I'll take it kind of step further. Because I'm like, look at Evan Fournier. How does he fit Tom Thibodeau's system? He's not a great defender. And he's just, again, if he's playing Boston, he's been great this year. But outside of that, he really has not done much.
And your Kings. But your Kings.
Yeah,
but everybody has good games against your Kings, though. That's the thing.
Yes, everybody does. Everybody does. Yes, they need a big game to play the Sacramento. But like he doesn't fit Tom Thibodeau's system. And again, like they didn't want DeRozan because he was too old. Like wasn't that really
And he didn't shoot. He didn't shoot threes. But even though Fournier shoots threes better, DeRozan is much more consistent. That's the thing.
Oh, absolutely, he is. He's a much better defender, which fits the Thibodeau system as well. And then, I love Kemba. Yeah, I hate bashing Kemba, but he didn't fit Thibodeau's system. He's not. His best days are behind him, as you mentioned. With that, he's got arthritis in his knees. He's not as good a defender as he was anymore. That was his calling card. It was his athleticism, with his speed. He doesn't have that anymore. I hate to say it, but he doesn't. Again, he's had some really good games this year, but you can't rely on him all year. And I think they missed D-Rose too. They missed that point guard that kind of knows what Thibodeau wants. They're really missing Derrick Rose until he comes out. I think they keep struggling like this. Again, Grimes has kind of played well at times. Like Grimes has kind of shown you he's got some potential, but he's not going to be a superstar or anything. So yeah, I think the Knicks. I do think it's the roster construction right now. It just was not good.
Absolutely. And now we'll talk about the Lakers and their big struggles. And I think there's three reasons for it. One, it's been the health of AD and LeBron. AD's missed a bunch of time, but when the Lakers made the trade, they should have known that. I mean, AD has missed it. It worked, 1 year, but it hasn't worked the last 2 years. Number two, Russell Westbrook is massively overrated. I'm so tired of hearing about Russell Westbrook. He is so overrated. He's proving it this year. He is the worst player. One of the worst players to be named MVP. In my opinion, he's one of the worst players to be named MVP. And the biggest problem is it's not making guys better around him. It's the fact that guy cannot shoot. He's not a good 3-point shooter, and that's a problem. As we said with Ben Simmons, and we talked about with Simmons and Durant. You evolve your game like Ja Morant, you become a top player. You keep doing the same thing you did, 5 years ago, like Russell Westbrook. You continue to regress. You become less and less valuable every year. And Russell Westbrook is becoming less and less valuable every year. And he's proving that with the Lakers. And then number three, making these trades for Westbrook and Davis has hurt, the overall team. You see what you have to give up. When you had to give up, you give up Anthony Davis. You got to give up, Lonzo Ball. You had to give up Brandon Ingram. You've had to give up those players. And then making the trade for Russell Westbrook, you end up giving up, the Kyle Kuzmas, the Montrezl Harrells, and the guys around, and then now the supporting the complementary pieces aren't good enough. That's what happens when you trade for two top players, is the complementary pieces are not good enough.
Yeah, absolutely. And I didn't even put like an Alex Caruso in that category. He's a good, good, again, not a great point guard. But, I think he's another one. They weren't able to resign him because of the contract situations. Because, they got Westbrook and they got Davis. That's been such a huge problem. Again, I don't know why they backed out of the Buddy Hield trade. Now, I'm happy Buddy didn't go to L.A. because I didn't want to trade him to a division rival. But, again, they couldn't find other guys around him. And, again, LeBron James has been unbelievable this year. But you can't expect him to carry the team like he has and expect them to be healthy. He's 35, 36 years old. You can't put it all on his shoulders. AD's not staying healthy. And AD, when he's been healthy, he's shooting less than 40% on his mid-range jumpers. And, and he's shooting, less than 30% from three. And again, besides the post, that's really the only five been able to score this year when he's been healthy. Again, they don't have the as you mentioned, the complementary pieces just are not there for this team, and it showed. Again, I know we mentioned it quickly last week. Why I don't understand why they got rid of Rondo. Again, he makes everybody else around you better. He doesn't need to score 15 points a game. He doesn't need the triple doubles. I kind of put it on. I know LeBron's somewhat of the GM, they say there. It's on the front office for the way they've kind of been constructed this year. And again, they're 23 and 23 for a reason, or 24, whatever they are. Again, you had to know Anthony Davis was not going to stay healthy. And even the last few years, LeBron's kind of struggled at times to stay healthy. You had that more than just those two. And, they're just not great. And then defensively, too, they're horrible. And Russell Westbrook, I think, he's ranks in 32nd percentile of the defensive efficiency. He just doesn't help on that end of the floor either. He hurts them more than he helps.
Not at all. Not at all. That's why I think if LeBron and AD don't play, I think my Knicks beat them on Saturday night.
I could totally see it. If Randall comes to play, Knicks are healthy. I could totally see it. The Lakers just aren't healthy. They're not playing well. I could absolutely see the Knicks going in there and knocking them off Saturday night. Would not surprise me one bit seeing that.
Absolutely. So we got to wrap up the show talking about a transfer, and that's Caleb Williams is transferring to USC. I think, I'm going to be honest, I think USC wins the Pac-12. You might call me crazy, but I think USC wins the Pac-12. And then in his junior year, I think they're national championship contenders. I think that's what this move is going to bring to USC, because I think Caleb Williams knows the offense. I think he's going to have 2 big years with USC.
Yeah, I do too. I think next year they probably are the front runners. Again, I don't know what to expect right now. Hey, don't count the Utes.
Don't count the Utes out, but
not count out.
Don't count the Utes, but without Garrett Wilson and Chris Olave, you still lost the Rose Bowl. Let's get that straight.
They had a rough one there, and actually, Dobie absolutely destroyed.
Yeah, he owned them. Yes.
Yeah.
He owned them in that game.
He did. Man, you're going to see a lot more kind of offensive system there now with Lincoln Riley in town. But I can't count the Utes. But again, USC's going to be right there. I think they are going to kind of maybe the Rose Bowl can participate for the Pac-12 this year. I don't really know what they're going to expect for Daniel Lanning yet with the Ducks. But yeah, with this offense again, because USC's today's like the official signing day. I don't know what USC's up to. They're still at the 50s or 60s. He's drawing a lot of good transfers that are really going to help this thing turn around very quickly. And yeah, Williams with his offense, I think, I do agree. 2 years. I think this is a national contender. I think next year, they open with Texas. Who do they open with? They open with somebody big, and I think we're going to find out very early what to expect of the Trojan. But yeah, I think in 2 years, you're going to see a very good you're going to see a Trojan team that's going to be right back up there. That's competing and where they should be as a national championship contender, because that's where you should be. Caleb Williams to be able to do that to him. He, already knowing Lincoln Riley's scheme here, being at Oklahoma last year, I think to elevate that offense again. I think that defense with the pieces they're going to bring in, it's going to get better. And what the way Lincoln Riley been able to coach, USC next year should win the Pac-12. Then Utah, Oregon, probably the top 3 right now. And then I do think in 2 years they should be sitting right there. Finally kind of being included in the playoff conversations.
Absolutely. How is this going to affect Oklahoma?
So they got Dylan Gabriel, the former Central Florida quarterback. He played well his freshman year, broke his collarbone at Louisville in week 3, didn't play the year after. He's going to be reuniting with Jeff Levy, who recruited him to UCF before he went to Lane Kiffin. So with Ole Miss, so he's going to be running to Oklahoma. I think some of their really talented guys left. Even at the wide receiver core. So I think Oklahoma's going to be just fine. I think Oklahoma's going to be right there in the Big 12 once again, kind of competing. Right there with the chance to play in Dallas. For the title for the conference title. But I like Dylan Gabriel coming in. I like Jeff Levy. He's got they're going to run the same type of offense, kind of the running, or the high octane offense, and Gabriel's kind of been able to do that with UCF his freshman year. I think he'll do it just fine, at Oklahoma. He committed to UCLA, went to the class first day, and then decided to transfer to Oklahoma for whatever reason. I'm not sure why, but I think he's a good get for Oklahoma. I do like the addition here with Gabriel, getting a veteran guy in here after you lost him and Williams and Rattler. So get another veteran guy in here, I think was big, and Gabriel's going to hold down the fort just fine.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with both teams. We'll see how this move impacts both teams. But that's going to wrap it up this week on Sports Talk with R&J. For our producer, Jace Garcia, did a great job. For Justin D'Onofrio, I'm Steve Risser. We'll be back next week with our Super Bowl preview and previewing the NBA trade deadline. Have a great weekend, everyone.
Jones on first down, wide open, it's Barkley. And Saquon Barkley will take it into the end zone.
Your best ability is his availability. Saquon Barkley, he's great when he's on the field, but the problem is since 2018, he hasn't been healthy for this team.
Look at this. They lob it to him. He taps it in off the glass. How about that?
Porter Moser, I think right now is the best coach of college basketball, hands down.
Fins 2 for 3. He's done his part. Pitch is drilled to deep right field toward the pole, and it is gone.
They don't mind not being what they were in the 90s as the best organization in baseball, because the Yankees aren't even close to the best organization in baseball.
You're trying to be the Rays, and the Rays do this for a reason. You're the Yankees.
Hello, my name is Joe Aguirre. I'm the president of Clovercrest Media Group. And here at CMG, we have a wide variety of podcasts, including sports shows like Keys to the City, The Roll Call, Throwing Jabs, All Four Downs, and Jawing About the G-Men. And great true crime shows like Sticky Week, Crimes and Consequences, Ivy League Murders, and Bird, the unsolved murder of David Eichmann. You can find all these podcasts and so much more by visiting clovercrestmedia.com.